Hi, my name is Daudi Mugabi, and this is Business Mike Episode 7. My guest today is a serial entrepreneur and motivational speaker named Agaba Tumusiime. In this episode, we discuss the importance of having mentors, the power of the Mastermind group, and why we need innovation in our businesses. All this and more next on Business Mike. Thank you so much for your time, Agaba. Could you briefly tell us who you are and what you do?
Thank you for having me on your program, Daudi. It's a great pleasure to be here. My name is Agaba Tumusiime, and I am an entrepreneur. I am a motivational speaker, and I am an all-round hustler.
Okay, and do you have any business role models, any people out there that inspire you in what you do?
Yes, my business role models happen to be individuals who I've interacted with on a personal basis. The mentors that I've worked with over the years. I've worked with some very professional and high-achieving individuals who have instilled in me the traits that I like to embody today. They taught me about how to present myself, how to communicate, how to make myself look and represent professionalism, and as well as instilled in me a work ethic that was second to none. So people like my father, Godfrey Tumusiime, people like my past mentors, Dave Morningstar and Tommy Johnson, who are highly successful insurance executives from Baltimore, Maryland, and other individuals like that. I wouldn't say that I admire any of these famous business role models that would be the cliches. I more so tend to gravitate toward people who have actually had a tangible impact on my life.
Yeah, there's something you've mentioned there that I think is really important, and that's mentorship. I've heard very many times that it's very important to have a mentor, be it a health mentor or a business mentor. How important is it to have someone that's been there and done that versus, say, Googling whatever it is you want to do or specialize in?
I think for a person who wants to be a high achiever in life, having a mentor is an absolute necessity, because there are going to be several instances that you will face circumstances that you just are not familiar with, and you do not know what to do. You don't have the answer. You can't figure it out. And who better to ask for advice than a person who's walked that path before you? And that mentor may not necessarily be somebody who's in the specific field or industry that you want to work in, but somebody who has demonstrated that through their own hard work and achievement, that they have a story that they can share with you, some insights that they can share with you.
And how would you approach a mentor? I'm sure there are people listening now who are saying, okay, how do I approach these guys? What do I tell them? How do I make this happen?
Well, first and foremost, I think one should not be afraid to ask. It's as simple as asking. If you are afraid to ask, you never know whether it will be a yes or no. If you don't ask, the answer is automatically always going to be a no. If you want somebody to be your mentor, express genuine desire to learn from them. There's nothing more flattering than somebody approaching you and saying, Daudi, listen here, I really admire the work that you've done and the success that you've achieved in your career. Would you possibly be willing to spend some time with me so that I could share my thoughts and you can give me some feedback, some input? Being a mentor isn't necessarily drawing a roadmap for someone. It's just being that sounding board and being that wise advisor that they will need in times of indecision, or when a huge opportunity comes and they need somebody to help them calm down and not step too far, too fast. Those are the types of things that a mentor can really add to your life.
Why don't you tell us a bit more about some of the businesses that you have and what you're doing?
Well, first and foremost, I am a director at Cityville, car wash, lounge, and restaurant in Bukoto. It's something that we've been doing for about 2.5 years now, and we're very proud that we've managed to bring some innovation and some style into this hospitality field. In Kampala, it's a very competitive world out there. Everybody has coffee shops, everybody has a restaurant, everybody has a bar. So we work really hard to kind of set ourselves apart through a high level of service. And I'm very proud of what we've been able to achieve at Cityville. And I have another business in the hospitality field called Mixology Incorporated, where we provide beverage catering services to private events. So whether it be a wedding, a housewarming party, or a corporate end-of-year function, we can provide a first-class VIP beverage catering solution for that event. But we also do cocktail bar consultation, we also do cocktail bar staff training, and we do management consultancy for businesses in the hospitality industry, so bars, restaurants, hotels. We can offer consultancy to them as well. And the third thing that we do is we offer brand building marketing support to beverage companies. So whether it be a spirit brand or a beer brand, we can design unique and creative concepts and execute those concepts as well so that they can improve their market share and improve their visibility and their prestige in the market to those customers that they're looking to interact with.
As an entrepreneur, how do you come up with a business idea? What makes you think to yourself, I need to open up a bar, or I need to start a branding business or a beverage company? What sparks that idea?
Well, my inspiration for business ideas typically comes from one of two areas. Either one, it's something that I am just extremely passionate about. For example, I happen to be passionate about motivational speaking. I happen to be passionate about leadership development. I happen to be a strong believer in that we as individuals create our own story. We create our own success. The circumstances that surround us do not define us. And therefore, I would love to be able to create a social entrepreneurship enterprise around passing that message on to people. So that's a passion project for me. Whether it makes money or not is not something that I'm particularly concerned in, because I know that it will impact people's lives. And ultimately, that's the fulfillment that I get from it. On the flip side of things, in the business realm, I see opportunities where the market has failed, where there are performance gaps. For example, with mixology. The origin of mixology came about when I was attending a party at a very fancy hotel. It was a private event promoted and hosted by the hotel. There were maybe 450 guests at this event, but the hotel's bar was so small and they were so poorly prepared to handle the capacity of the guests at this function that at the end of the night, the general manager was just berating his staff over how poorly they performed. And I thought to myself, sir, you're actually berating your staff as a result of your failure to prepare them. You should have known that 450 people is a much larger number than your bar has ever served before. You simply do not have the manpower nor the capacity, the efficiency in your systems to handle a crowd of that size. So what you should have done is brought in somebody externally who could supplement that service. Then I realized that there was nobody who offers that service at a high level, at a professional level. The light bulb went off. I knew that I had the capability and the experience to be able to set up something like this. So that's where the idea for mixology was born. So a lot of the time, my ideas will come from passion, but at the same time, where there are gaps in the marketplace, you can strike while the iron is hot and create something of a great opportunity for yourself.
These businesses that you started, did you have a job and start them on the side, or did you just happen to start them without a job? Did you quit your job?
I moved back to Uganda from living in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. That's where I was born and raised and I grew up. I moved back to Uganda in 2011, April of 2011. And I literally arrived here with no plan to get a job. I knew that I was determined to be an entrepreneur. I knew that I was determined to set up my own business and create my own fortunes. So everything that I've been doing for the past 4 years, I've been working independently. I've generated my own income. I've created my own opportunities. I've not had a salary, nor have I been an employed member of anyone's staff for the entire time that I've been back here in Uganda.
When you first came up with many of these ideas, you had a vision in your mind. You had a place where you were, a goal for them. Right now, they're already on their way there. But how different is the current business from the vision you had? And why is there that difference?
Well, I think every entrepreneur needs to understand that from the time that you draft a business plan, and that's really important, you need to set a business plan to paper so that it can give you a roadmap to follow when you are setting up your business. But understand that your business plan should not be a cage that restricts you. It should not be the guideline by which you govern your business absolutely. Every day you're going to encounter different circumstances. You're going to realize new opportunities that will change the nature of your business plan. So for me, in the last 4 years, since I set up mixology, for example, my business model has shifted tremendously. Because of the opportunities that I recognized in the marketplace, I realized that certain parts of my business model, certain aspects of my business model were not going to be able to be sustainable. So I eliminated them and I sought out other opportunities, other channels to market. So For me, my businesses are growing, they're developing. However, it's a constant challenge to innovate and differentiate. And another thing is, there is competition out there now. Since I started mixology, I am the most professional and foremost leader in my industry for sure, but that doesn't mean that there aren't a number of copycats out there who can water down the image of what I'm trying to create out of this industry. I'm trying to start a brand new industry afresh. So when you're trying to do that, when you're trying to be a trailblazer, an innovator, a leader in that way, you have no choice but to adapt and adjust according to what you see and what you experience on the ground every single day. Yes, but the long-term vision never changes. The execution plan and how you're going to get there ultimately is what you have to be flexible enough to change. Yes.
The reason why I ask this question is because some entrepreneurs set out a business plan and they stick to their guns. They become stubborn. And I think it's really important to have that flexibility to recognize that the market changes and that your business model might be very, very different from something you set out at the very beginning. So what you just said there is really, really crucial.
That is a classic term when we were in business school. They call that escalation of commitment. You are on a one-way street going 100 kilometers per hour and you can't hit the brakes because your mind is too stubborn to allow you to slow down. A lot of people pour extra resources into a business, throwing in bad money after good money because they do not want to allow themselves to admit that their business model is failing them. A lot of people make poor choices, associate themselves with the wrong people, hire the wrong staff, get into business agreements with the wrong partners, and ultimately they are challenged to make a change. Those people who can realize that they've made a mistake and change for the better will soon see their business turn around. However, when you're down that rabbit hole, ultimately sometimes it's a bottomless pit and you can't get out of it. So being an entrepreneur, it's a vanity project, you know. There's an ego to being the CEO. There's an element of ego to owning your own business. But you cannot allow that ego to control the decisions that you make when it comes to assessing the health and the viability of your business. You should be able to sit down with a calculated spreadsheet and understand that, okay, I've been pouring X amount of money into my business every month, yet we continue to make losses. If I stay on this path, I will only lose that much more money over the next 6 months. However, if I make changes A, B, and C, it may cost me a little bit more money over the next 3 months, but a year from now, my business fortunes will be transformed. So everything is a step-by-step process that you need to be calculated and you need to be strategic. You need to look a mile further down the road as opposed to thinking about what's going to happen 15 minutes from now, for sure.
Are there any mistakes that you've made along your entrepreneurial journey, and how can we learn from them?
The mistakes that you make, well, the mistakes that I've made, let's say, the mistakes that I've made along my entrepreneurial journey have been more so about the maturation process that I've gone through. I'm 35 years old now. I started my entrepreneurial career when I was 25 years old. And there's a significant difference in the mentality of somebody who's 25 years old, fresh out of university, taking on the world, thinking that they've got everything figured out, between now, where I've had my fingers burned, I've had some success, I've had a number of failures, I've gone broke, made money again. So my wealth of experiences are so different. And so some of the more crucial mistakes that I've made are just as a result of not seeing the bigger picture. Not having that emotional maturity, not having that emotional intelligence to realize that this is not going in my favor right now. Let me stick to it. Let me persevere a little bit longer. Some of the relationships that I've gotten into with regard to mixing friendship with business, those are opportunities that will really test your friendships. Those will test your relationships, because if you try and force yourself into a business relationship with somebody who you're just normally used to hanging around with and sharing a drink with, that expectation that you have of them will change drastically. And if that person is not willing to be accountable to you, or if on the flip side you are not willing to be accountable to them in that way, the nature of your relationship will change drastically. So I've tried a little too frequently to mix business with friendship, because I felt like I was gravitating toward people who I could trust on an emotional level. But when it came for them to execute the quality of work that was needed in order for our enterprise to thrive, that trust was not established. I couldn't trust them as professionals. I could trust them as associates on a social level. So those are some of the mistakes that I've made. I feel like In the past, I've been a bit too generous with my time. I've been a bit too giving of my time and my knowledge and myself as a resource. So many people can see that you have the intelligence, they can see that you have the creativity, and they will take advantage of whatever it is that you offer them. So I'll say that it has allowed me to build a measure of credibility and respect because people know that I'm always willing and open to have a conversation with them. But now I view my time as a premium. My time is at a premium, and if you're not willing to pay for the time and the attention that I offer you in order to be able to benefit from the conversation that we're having, then chances are it won't be a very long conversation.
Actually, Jim Rohn has a very good quote that says, days are expensive. When you spend one, you have one less day to spend. So make sure you use each wisely.
Absolutely.
What are the happiest moments you've had in your businesses?
The happiest moments are those days when the business is launching. I think you go through so much in the planning and setup phase of a business. Take Cityville, for example. We spent about 7 to 10 months building, constructing, designing the theme, the decor, hiring staff, training the personnel, and creating the relationships in the community that would allow us to be able to start this business with some momentum. And so when we finally got to that launch period, all those sleepless nights and all that agonizing over whether you're making those right decisions, when the people see it and they interact with it and they experience it and you get that positive feedback that you've been hoping for, those are really the happiest moments, because then you realize, I've got the right idea, I'm on the right path. Then you need to kind of check yourself, not celebrate your victories too much because the game is not over. Now it's about maintaining a level of consistency.
I'd like to discuss a bit about mastermind groups. It's something I've heard a lot about. For instance, once you start a business and it's growing very well, I've heard many times that you're advised to look for fellow entrepreneurs who are at your level or a bit higher, such that you're able to exchange ideas and basically monitor and push each other when you're slacking.
Yes.
What's your view on that, and how would you advise people to find fellow entrepreneurs to learn from? Like you said, a mentor is a very good person to have, but I think being in a mastermind group as well can help you enhance the quality and service of your business.
Well, I'm a big believer in the mastermind principle.
Yeah.
It's something that I've talked about repeatedly on my radio program, The Hustle. When I read Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and he talked about the mastermind principle, he said that a mastermind group can even be something as small as 2 individuals coming together. Because when 2 individuals come together and they share a common thought and a common purpose, they create one greater mind, the mastermind. Yeah. And so I think those individuals who are serious about developing their careers, those individuals who are serious about entrepreneurship and developing yourself as a respected and highly professional individual, you need to have a mastermind group of individuals. And again, sometimes people want to sit at their local bar or their local hangout and have a conversation with their friends and chat and, shoot the breeze, and that's great and everything. That can be very therapeutic to kind of let the stress off. But I equate a mastermind group to your own personal board of directors. Mm-hmm. When you are a CEO of a business, the board of directors is that group of individuals who tells you when you're steering the business wrong. Mm-hmm. The board of directors tells you that this is not in the best interest of the brand. This is not in the best interest of our stakeholders. And you as an individual have a brand. You as an individual have stakeholders. You may be a single person who's running a business on your own in a shop by yourself, but your stakeholders are your family, your spouse, your children, anybody who does business with you, anybody who you hope to do business with. Those are your stakeholders, and if you don't put your best foot forward and give a 150% maximum effort, you're shortchanging yourself and you're shortchanging them. So that mastermind group can be that system of checks and balances to not only let you know when you're underperforming, but to push you forward to perform at a higher level. Because somebody in that group is ultimately, as you said, going to be a higher achiever than you. And the best thing that you can do for yourself is surround yourself with people who are more experienced, more affluent, more wealthy, and more successful on paper than you. Because that will push you, that will challenge you to not feel like you've made it. That will challenge you to feel as though you deserve your seat at the table. So a mastermind group is an absolutely crucial tool for anybody to employ in their own life. How do you go about having a mastermind group formed? I would say first and foremost, find professionals within your industry, within your field, who you have a common respect for, and start from there. Because that mastermind group, not only does it have to be based upon mutual respect on a professional level, it has to be based on trust. Can you trust that person? I don't want to sit down and start sharing my innermost insecurities with you, Dowdy, only to have you turn around and share a drink with your friend and say, man, you know what? The other night, I had a conversation with Agaba, and that guy, he's a sucker, man. You know what I mean? So that mastermind group has got to be built on a principle of mutual respect, mutual trust, and mutual pouring into one another. You have to commit to being as impactful in someone's life as you want those other people to be impactful in your life as well. So if you can find that core group of individuals, start with 2, start with 3, and then grow your membership organically from there. You need criteria through which somebody can add value to your group. Somebody needs to be dedicated, somebody needs to be committed, and somebody needs to be disciplined in order to be a member of a mastermind group. It's not just a social party, it's business at its highest level. And once somebody can dedicate themselves and be committed in that way, then they can add value to your mastermind group. And then you can invite them in and see how it goes from there.
Yeah, actually that reminds me of another good Jim Rohn quote, that is, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So you choose your friends and colleagues wisely. What's the most important thing that you look out for in your businesses? What's the key part that you put some emphasis on?
My key thing is innovation. I studied, when I went for my MBA, I completed my MBA in 2008 from Penn State University, Smale College of Business. And my degree program was an MBA, and my portfolio was corporate innovation and entrepreneurship. And my secondary portfolio was strategic leadership. So when I studied corporate innovation and entrepreneurship, we introduced a lot of novel business ideas. We talked about the aspect of being able to take a business idea from a seed all the way to fruition, to getting funded by a venture capital firm or a private investor, an angel investor, so on and so forth. But the number one theme that was central through everything that we talked about, everything that we discussed, and everything that I believe in as an entrepreneur, is you have to be innovative. You have to be different. Okay? There are too many copycat businesses out here right now. And the only way that an economy is going to grow, the only way that a industry is going to grow, is if the leaders challenge one another to continue to improve the status of the industry by improved level of service, by improved technology, by improved product offerings, etc., etc. So for me, whenever I enter a business, like mixology, for example, I knew that when you go to someone's event, you're probably going to see a table full of drinks. Half of them will be warm, half of them will be poorly organized, and the bar staff will not be able to do anything other than pop a bottle top and pour it into a glass. When I go to a mixology event, I want to see cocktail bartenders. I want to see beverages that look appetizing and delicious. I want to see something that looks professionally organized and beautiful. I want to see guys who have a professional etiquette about themselves when they're offering customer service and communicating with the customers. I want to be able to create a bespoke environment for each and every unique individual customer that I work with. So that's the innovation that I'm offering. And so my principle is always about innovation. How can you set yourself apart from those people who are currently doing this thing in this marketplace right now? Even if you don't have $1 million to invest in the technology that would be required to bring a new business category to this market, you can be innovative just in the way that you execute the work that you do on a daily basis. You can be innovative in the way that you communicate with your clients. You can be innovative in the way that you sell and market your business. So for me, that's my number one thing, innovation. I live and breathe that word, innovation, in everything that I do in my business. I have to be a head and shoulders above the competition. I have to stick out like a sore thumb in the right way, for sure.
Does that mean that you keep checking yourself, keep asking yourself, can I do better? Can I do better?
Yes, every day, every day. You should never be satisfied with the status quo. You should never be satisfied with the quality of your own work, because once you reach another level, then you have something even higher to aspire to. It's something akin to a weightlifter, for example. If you want to be a professional bodybuilder and you want to build a body full of muscle, at a certain point, your muscles will stop reacting to the weights that you lift because they're just too light. Therefore, you need to grab extra weight, put it on the bar, and stretch your muscles, break your muscles, give yourself that pain. No pain, no gain. If you're comfortable in what you're doing, then you're not doing enough. You should always be uncomfortable. If you feel like that presentation that you gave to that client was too easy, you're not doing enough, because you should feel nervous that you're challenging yourself to go to a higher level every time you do it. Even if you do the same thing each and every day. Tomorrow I'm going to do it better, I'm going to do it faster, I'm going to do it more impressively than I did it the day before. Absolutely.
Why don't you talk more about your radio show?
The radio show that I'm involved with, it's a radio segment on Thursdays, XFM, at 3:30 p.m. called The Hustle. And The Hustle to me is a platform that I am using to just spread a message of positivity and self-empowerment to everybody out there who is a hustler. A hustler to me is somebody who is trying to get ahead in life. And you're willing to do whatever it takes by any means necessary to achieve that, okay? I'm not talking about going out there and breaking the law or doing anything shady, but I'm talking about working harder, working smarter, using the resources at your disposal in the right way in order to achieve the desired results. All right? You could be a student, you could be a staff member at somebody's company, you could be a corporate executive, you could be an entrepreneur, you could be a stay-at-home mother. Everything is a hustle. Everything that you do in your life requires hard work, dedication, and a commitment to be excellent at what it is that you do. So for me on The Hustle, what we talk about is we talk about self-empowerment through attitudes, the perception of your circumstances. I believe that in Uganda right now, we live among a generation of individuals who have been demoralized because there are not a wealth of career opportunities out there. The job market does not embrace you with open arms. When you're graduating from university, you don't have that excitement to throw your cap and gown out and say, I'm putting on a business suit because tomorrow I've got a job. Too many people graduate from university and are out there stuck, struggling, thinking of what to do, blaming the environment that they are in for their circumstances, rather than looking within to create the opportunities that they need for themselves. So on The Hustle, we talk about opportunity creation from in working outward. We don't want the world to facilitate us. We want to create the vision of what it is that we want to achieve in our lives, then engage in the behavior and the attitudes that will then make the universe shift and bring everything to us. Because I'm a strong believer in the law of creation, the law of attraction, the power of positive actualization and visualization. If you believe it and you can conceive it and you speak about it in the right way and you genuinely act upon it in a dedicated fashion, day in and day out, the universe has no choice but to bring it to you. So that's what we talk about on The Hustle. So whoever you are, whatever your age is, whatever demographic that you fit in, whatever your walk of life is, we hustle daily. And I just want people to know that someone is out there believing in you. Ultimately, that's what it is. I would just like to say that, this is an excellent platform that I think we should invest more time and effort into. I think podcasts, webcasts, web series, being able to disseminate information in a positive way, in a very solutions-oriented manner is important for us. So for those of us who are out here in this space, Business Mind, the entire motivational speaking community out here, those of us who are into leadership coaching and training, all of us who are trying to create awareness and build a wealth of knowledge and information sharing opportunities for our fellow entrepreneurs and hustlers out there. I think we need to come together more frequently. And I think we should encourage each other and make sure that we do the right things to kind of build ourselves and build our capacity to have an impact on the masses. I would love to be able to see something like this turn into social events that draw a crowd of 500, 1,000 people, and the message is tremendous, the message is massive. So I would like to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing, to continue to inspire people to get out there and work hard and seek knowledge, seek better understanding, and hopefully in the future we'll have an opportunity to collaborate on something great. Right. I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds good, sounds good. This is the second last question. If you were the host of this podcast show and I was your guest, what is the one question you would ask me?
If you could go back and speak to your 18-year-old self, what is the best bit of advice that you would give him?
That's a very good question. I would tell myself, believe in yourself. simply because, to be honest, prior to starting this very podcast, I never believed in myself. I tried so many things and I failed at them. I was always average at best at whatever I did. When it comes to sports, I wasn't the fastest, but I wasn't the last. Academics, I was never top of the class, but I wasn't at the bottom. There's nothing I excelled in. But when you believe in yourself and that you convince yourself that there's something inside you that can have an impact on not just your immediate friends and family, but the world at large, you can achieve it. And to be honest, this simple podcast here is something I would never have thought I would be able to do. I never imagined myself meeting entrepreneurs such as yourself, people that have accomplished very many things, being able to speak publicly. I had problems with public speaking, but over time, the more I believed in myself, the better I became. So I would tell my 18-year-old self, believe in yourself.
That's excellent advice. I think anybody who believes in themselves and realizes that there's no achievement in this world that is greater than your ability to get there.
Yeah.
I think, most importantly, people, and I will keep this specific to our African youth.
Yeah.
Our African youth, we have a mentality, and I won't use this as too strong of a generalization, but a lot of African youth have a mentality that the circumstances that we are living in cannot change unless somebody changes it for you. And I want everybody to realize that the strength that you have within you to just create an alternative reality for yourself is so great. And if you embrace your own strength and have confidence in yourself and believe in yourself, you can do anything. You can run faster, you can jump higher, you can lift more weight, and you can be smarter by reading more books, by gathering more knowledge. The brain is a muscle. Just like your legs and your arms have muscles, your brain is a muscle. So train your brain, gather that knowledge, work out, become the best, become an expert in what it is that you want to do, and the world will present itself to you on a silver platter, that's for sure.
Finally, how can people get in touch with you?
People can get in contact with me in a few different ways. If you want to follow the Hustle program, you can log on to facebook.com/thehustleug and like our Facebook page. We will be interacting with people, keeping the dialogue going. We want to build an online community of hustlers out there. So go to facebook.com/thehustleug. If you want to get in contact with me by email, you can email me at blacklionug@gmail.com. And you can tweet me at mastergabs, MASTERGABS. Tweet me at mastergabs on Twitter. We can get in contact with each other, communicate with me, let's build a dialogue. If you're out here trying to get ahead in life and you just want something of a greater opportunity for yourself, I'd love to be a part of helping you realize your vision.
Thank you so much, Agaba, for your time.
Thank you, Dowdy.
Have a nice day.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for listening to Business Mike today. And if you'd like to listen to more episodes just like this one, simply go to businessmike.com. For all the links and resources mentioned in this particular episode, simply type the name Agaba into the search bar to access his show notes page. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, take care.